Hello everyone, this is Kathleen and I am here today with a follow-up video to the Mixing Your Patterns video that I did the other day. And I've just decided that I want to do a second eclectic journal at the same time as the first little robin journal that I'm working on, just to give you a variety of examples of what eclectic looks like. Because it's so non-prescriptive, all I can do is just try to give examples. And so I'm going to do two journals at the same time, and we'll do ephemera and that kind of thing for both of them kind of at the same time. So this is what's inspired me, honestly. I've had this kind of on my desk for some months now. This is a Happy Mail that came from Linda's Paperworks. I've sent you to see Linda before, but if you are new and haven't heard me mention her, I just love her channel, so I hope you'll go by and check her out. So she had this organized way more artistically, seriously, and she had it wrapped in a beautiful tulle length, and it looked so pretty. And I kind of tried, of course I dug into it, right? But I tried to kind of put it back together for this video so that I could show you the things that she has in here that just are so appealing to me. So I think she just exemplifies the point that I want to make about eclectic being deliberately choosing the things that are meaningful somehow, or that even just inspire you, or that you find appealing and attractive. And so this is what she chose specifically for me. And so I want to kind of show you these things. Then I have put together some papers additionally, and I'll show you how I'm going to deliberately add to what she has sent me, and then we'll make as this second eclectic journal. So the thing that is most obvious right off the top is this beautiful little hanky, and it's vintage or retro, but it certainly is a focal point of this little package. And I'm not sure, because of this bright purple, I'm not sure how I will end up using it in the journal, but it will be in there for sure. So there's that beautiful little hanky. Let me kind of separate, actually, these papers, and I will show you these things just in a few minutes. So let's keep this sort of separate. So here's the little hanky. And then the next thing that just jumped out at me that I just loved was this little greeting card. And it's just come to her from the National Wildlife Federation. You know, those cards that they send in fundraising kinds of letters. And I just love it. I love this gold color. I love the daisies. It feels very summery to me. So this is, I'm going to set this aside because this is going to be a focal point in the journal somehow. Whether I put it on the cover, I'm not sure, but I like the way this yellow gold is kind of standing out. So speaking of that, she also sent me 3 of these trivia cards. Trivial Pursuit was a game that was really popular when I was like first married, and that same color, can you see how that's kind of starting to dominate the way I'm thinking about this? Yeah, this is a Get Well card, vintage, and it opens all the way up, so that will be nice journaling space. And I also love this green. You maybe know by now that green is my favorite color, and so I'm always drawn to the greens. And this is kind of a greenish gold. Love that. She has sent some recipe cards with this nice, you know, printed lines on the back. There's 3 of those. I will at least use 1. Here are some vintage postal labels. Nice. Here's another greeting card. It does not have the name of the artist on it, but it looks a lot like Marjolaine Baston, and I really love her work. Another little vintage recipe greeting card from Current. Yeah, very vintage. So you can see we've got some different styles going on, right? Here's another little vintage postcard. So these are very different kinds of styles of art. But that's the beauty of junk journals, is mixing all of that together in a kind of eclectic journal. Look at this really cool envelope. Very vintage, and it's got this really large flap that comes over the top. She's given me some napkins for decoupage. There were 2 of these, 2 sheets of this. I might have used the other one already in something, but I like that. It's an extra writing page. Here's 2 or 3 of these little notepad papers, little blue bird on that fence. This is another current, no, it's not Current. It looks a lot like a Current card, but it's just a note card in the garden. So maybe a garden theme going on here. Here's some really beautiful vintage wrapping paper. A nice large piece, and I love this golden color and all of these greens. Here's this coral pink. Love that. Another nice, beautiful piece of wallpaper. I think it's wallpaper. Another piece of wallpaper. I love having some wallpaper. This has kind of an embossed design. It reminds me, though, of the sponging technique. So that gives me an opportunity to do some sponging. Here's another little envelope that's just random and vintage. This little owl. And another envelope. Here, oh, there's the second piece. Great, of that writing paper. Here is a recipe from a recipe book, a page. That one's blank on one side, nice. Here are 2 other recipe pages, and they have a pretty space there to put some fiber. A dictionary page that's dyed. Another napkin. A third or fourth piece of wallpaper. Really beautiful with this light kind of teal blue turquoise color. Another envelope and chipboard to hold it all. Yeah. Here's one of her little envelope makes. She does a lot with envelopes and some die cut labels. This is darling, just a cute little pocket from the end of an envelope. A die cut of flowers. Here's a little button card and a doily, folded doily. That would be fun to just add as a little tuck or maybe on the corner of a page. And just some little vintage note papers ripped off of a pad. You can see the perforation marks and a couple other little notes. So there might have even been more. She was very generous with me for sure, but it's possible that I have used it because I do have been sitting with this for some time. And I want to thank Linda. What a wonderful gift this was to me. and very inspiring. I just have wanted, I've kept it out because I've wanted to do a journal and just haven't had time. So based on these things that she sent, this is what I'm going to add. And I want to find this card, these two cards kind of, and together with these wallpapers have kind of informed my choices for colors. But I'm going to use this funky print. It's a scrapbook paper. And then I have chosen this as well to kind of match. Those are a couple of really large scale. You know, I talked about this in the last video. So I'm just going to use these colors and prints and mix them into the journal with these other kinds of colors that she has sent. And one of the things that I didn't mention in the last video that I wanted to, that I remembered, is another lesson from my mom, who taught me about impressionistic art, that when you see it, you know, up close or individual, that it doesn't make sense, that it just looks like brush strokes. But when you stand back, when you get some perspective on it, you stand back and see it all together. And that's the way I see junk journals. Making junk journals, I don't just make a page at a time. I don't put the signature together just with 2 pages together and then 2 more pages together. I think of it as a total. The total book is what I'm going for. And when you stand back, when you kind of put all of this together in an artistic way, it looks good. And I assure you of that. So I have the papers, and I've chosen another couple of few things, like we need some neutrals in there, some white space, right? We talked about that. When you're mixing patterns, you need to add in some neutrals. So I have some neutrals here. I've got this pretty, yeah, I love that, Edith Holden book pages. And then I found this in a book as well. And it's a little softer, not quite as bold as, you know, some of these pages. But with all the neutrals, and this is the cover I've chosen. And then I found this too, and I wanted to show you. I'm going to use this in there as well, because the colors are going to match. And it's kind of folded up, and I think that we'll just put that in as kind of a pocket inside the signature. And then, this is why I saved it. Here's a little tip. If you run into these in thrift stores, and sometimes you will, you can use them as an iron-on stamp. If you're not going to embroider it, then you can iron that onto another page, and the design will come up as a stamp. So don't overlook these when you see them in the thrift stores. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of papers, and now I will go away and make the journal and bring it back to show you, and then we'll decorate this one alongside this one, and we'll have 2 eclectic junk journals. Thanks for being with me, and I will see you again with that project.